Algeria has announced the closure of its country's airspace to all Moroccan civil and military aircraft. The move comes less than a month after it cut diplomatic relations with the kingdom. Algerian presidency on Wednesday said in a statement that the decision came in view of the continued provocations and hostile practices on the Moroccan side. The closure also includes any aircraft carrying a Moroccan registration number, the presidency said after the meeting of the country's Supreme Security Council. There was no immediate Moroccan official response. Algeria late last month decided to cut diplomatic ties with Morocco, citing hostile actions from the kingdom, referring mainly to comments made by Morocco's envoy in New York in favor of the self-determination of the Kabyle region in Algeria. Algiers also accused Rabat of backing MAK, a separatist group that the government has declared a terrorist organization.
Madagascar's president branded current efforts to fight climate change lags and called for urgent and coordinated world response during his address to the UN General Assembly in New York on Wednesday. Madagascar finds itself a victim of climate change. There are recurrent waves of drought in the south of the country, the water sources dry up, and all the means of subsistence become almost impossible. My compatriots in the south are bearing the weight of climate change, which they did not participate in creating. Ladies and gentlemen, in the fight against climate change, all our efforts will be in vain if the implementation of measures and sanctions to stop climate change continue to be lax. This crisis forces us to change the paradigm. If we do nothing, the situation will continue and get worse. Ghanaian President Nana Akufo-Addo also spoke to the UN, highlighting the economic chaos created by the COVID-19 pandemic in Africa and called for greater funding for global health systems.
More than 30 million Africans fell into extreme poverty in 2020, and nearly 40 million could do so in 2021. The social impact has been devastating. Over 103 million African jobs have been lost.
African leaders attending the UN General Assembly have spoken out at the lack of access to vaccines and the damaging effects of climate change.
The agreement reached between Windhoek and Berlin on the genocide perpetrated against the Herero and the Nama peoples of Namibia between 1904 and 1908 is not going down well. Its examination in the Namibian National Assembly on Tuesday gave rise to stormy debates.
So people are saying, yes, there are other Namibians who have been affected. That is true. We do not deny that. Because we know that during that period of the German occupation, there was war. But during that period, something specific happened, and that is the genocide. And that is, so we are rejecting the agreement or the declaration because it doesn't speak to the needs of the affected communities.
Namibian MPs are expecting more action for the descendants of the genocide victims.
So restitution is at least bringing the person back to the position that he or she could have been, was it not for the genocide. Compensation, what have they lost? It's the issue of land, the issue of movable and non-movable properties, the issue of identity, culture.
Tens of thousands of Namibians were killed by German settlers in what historians call the first genocide of the 20th century. South African Airways returns to the skies this Thursday, September 23, after a year of inactivity and almost 18 months without a commercial flight. The airlines has not flown any commercial flights since March 2020 and ceased all cargo and repatriation flights in September last year. The carrier will initially offer flights from Johannesburg to Cape Town, Accra, Kinshasa, Harare, Lusaka, and Maputo. Interim CEO Thomas Chokolo, expressing delight, assured passengers that South African Airways will continue to be a safe carrier adhering to COVID-19 protocols. After spending a period of 17 months in administration, South African Airways finally exited business rescue in April 2021 before the South African government agreed to sell its majority stake to Takatso Consortium in June. Takatso has promised to invest up to $243 million over the next 3 years.
U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris met new Zambian President Hakainde Hichilema at the White House on Wednesday. She praised Hichilema's August win as democracy in action.
And today, of course, we share a commitment to democracy. And we understand and know that to strengthen democratic institutions means to respect and uphold the rule of law, and to lead understanding the significance and importance of fighting for all people and their rights and human rights. Last month, we watched as a historic number of Zambians voted for you, with young people leading the way.
We too were delivered by the people of Zambia in a substantial way under very difficult circumstances, democratic space not being available. But we're very grateful to be here, to be invited to the White House after so many years of leaders before us who were not able to be invited here. Thank you. Thank you.
Harris said Hichilema was the first Zambian leader to visit the White House since 1992.